Back to follow-up segment tonight. 3 weeks from tomorrow, midterm elections will be held across the country. Many believe Republicans will win the Senate. And as you know, the GOP currently controls the House. With us now here in New York City, Karl Rove. All right, you heard me blister the federal government about Ebola and ISIS. And we're obviously being lied to. You don't disagree with that, right?
I don't think we're being told the full truth. I don't think they're being
told. You guys here, you kill me. Look, we're not being told the full truth. I think that falls under the...
No, look.
I
don't know if it is a deliberate lie or simply somebody has said, don't tell them. I mean, there's a big difference.
Why doesn't he get up and say, somebody told me not to tell you guys?
Look, that's inconsequential. We're not getting all the information we need to get. Right. That's the bottom line.
The bottom line to me is
put a label on it.
We're being misled about life and death.
Yeah.
That's dangerous because ISIS is life and death too.
Sure.
All right? And we're being misled on both fronts. That being established beyond a reasonable doubt, will voters take that in 3 weeks?
Yeah, look, we got two issues here. We've got Ebola, which adds to this growing concern about security, and we have ISIS, which has been for 5 or 6 months a driver in public opinion. If you take a look back early in the spring, the economy was the #1 issue, and lots of things were #2 and #3. Since then, the issue of national security and terrorism has risen to #2 in most of the polls. So I think that's a direct effect of ISIS. Ebola adds to those concerns about our nation's security. We've seen the reemergence of security moms and dads like we had in 2004. So, yes, it's going to be an issue. Now, having said that, it's going to be more of an issue where there's a direct connection between the individual candidate and either one of those two issues. On Ebola, for example, it's going to hurt Mark Pryor. He was asked the other day by a reporter, what do you think about the president's plan on Ebola? And he had no answer. He had nothing to say.
This is the Arkansas guy.
The Arkansas senator.
Right.
But the issue of ISIS will be particularly powerful in races in which the Democrat is a member of the Armed Services Committee, the Foreign Relations Committee.
But that's all sophisticated stuff. Most voters don't bring all that to the polls.
Look,
it's an emotional thing.
I know but look. Kay Hagan in North Carolina is chairman of the Emerging Threats Subcommittee and never held a committee meeting. Senator Udall of Colorado in the first debate attempted to speak on behalf of the beheaded American journalists by saying they wouldn't want us to be tough in Iraq. I mean, he had to walk those things back. So if you have a Republican candidate who has some credential to talk about this and a Democrat who has a weakness on it, then it will become more salient.
All right. What about the perception, and you see this in every political poll, that the Obama administration is not being effective? All right. Does that transfer then to senatorial and Congress races?
To the degree that people say my vote is a way to send a message to the president. And the bad news for the president is the second midterm election, they feel very free to do exactly that. We've seen this in the Gallup poll. If you take a look at 4 years ago, 20% of the American people, or 22% of the American people said their vote was going to be a message of support for President Obama. Today, it's 20%, down 2. 4 years ago, it was 30% said their message was going to be a message of opposition to the president. Today, it's 32. So the president's in a weaker position than he was on the eve of the 2010 elections, and those didn't turn out too good for him.
All right. So you were saying that the whole atmosphere in America right now points to Republicans doing well.
Right.
Yet, the races, most of them, many of them, are still very, very tight.
That's right.
What is it that is keeping the Republican Party, and you got to be honest here, away from a dominant position 3 weeks out?
I'd say three things. One is the Democrats knew it was coming, unlike 2010, and so they prepared for it. And they raised a lot of money. That'd be point number one.
Money to buy ads.
Number two is they went on the offense against their Republican opponents early and often and have done everything they can for the last 5 or 6 months.
So they've been effective marginalizing them.
To some degree they have been. And thirdly, the Republicans have to offer not only a critique of their Democrat opponents and a critique of Obama, but new stuff, particularly as we enter the last 3 weeks of the election.
All right, Mr. Rove, thanks. As always, plenty more.